science in your manual, not your textbook, in your manual. So it says on page 109 in Exodus 10:19, I want you to tell me if an animal created the force, a machine, people, water, or wind. These are all biblical references. So carried away the locust. What would carry away the locust? Let me read it. So if you think of something that could possibly take locusts and carry them away, what do you think that would be? Something that clearly would be outside, obviously. I certainly hope they're not in the house because locusts are disgusting. They're so, and the Lord changed the wind to a very strong west wind, which caught up the locusts and carried them into the Red Sea. Not a locust was left anywhere in Egypt. Do you think this was probably one of the plagues?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. So what carried away the locust? I just read you the reference. What carried away the locust? Christian.
The wind?
Yes, the wind carried away the locust.
What Exodus is it?
Well, it's in your book. That was 10:19. This is Exodus 14:28. These are all about the plagues, which are always interesting. So, the water flowed back and covered the chariots and horsemen, the entire army of Pharaoh that had followed the Israelites into the sea. Not one of them survived. Who can tell me what is happening here? This is like one of the most amazing incidents in the Bible. So it says that this covered the chariots, horsemen, and all Pharaoh's army. What are they talking about? What covered them? An animal, a machine, people, water, or wind? Olivia?
The water.
Yes. So to set the stage is when Moses parted the Red Sea and the Israelites walked through the Red Sea to safety, and then Pharaoh's army followed and they didn't have as much luck. So God covered them with what? Water. So in Ruth, gleaned grain from fields. When you're gleaning, that means you are harvesting, picking the grain. Would that be an animal, a machine, people, water, or wind? Keep in mind, this is back in the Old Testament. So how do you think they picked the grain? Grayson?
By hand?
By hand, yes. So would it be person?
That'd be hard work.
That would be very hard work. Very hard work. Pulled Naaman's chariot. What would pull Naaman's chariot? An animal, a machine, a person? I hope not. Water or wind? Jeremiah?
Animal?
Yes. Ooh. Jonah 1:17. What swallowed Jonah? Jonathan.
Animal?
Yes. What kind of animal? A lion?
A whale?
A whale. Yes.
Creepy.
Yes. I think that'd be very creepy. I think of Dory.
I think the Addams family.
The Addams family.
What?
Why?
I don't know.
Did they get swallowed by a whale?
No.
That was so random.
What?
Oh gosh, I tell you. Okay, friends, let's keep. All right, friends. I'm sorry, but I'm never going to think of Jonah the same. All right, in Matthew 4:18, casting a net into the sea. Did they have giant machines back in the Old Testament?
No.
Who cast the nets into the sea? Gabe.
People.
Yes, people. Oh, this Luke 19:2-4. Who ran and climbed a sycamore tree to see Jesus? Kristen.
A person.
A person. Does anybody know what the person's name was? It's like a popular Bible story. Yes, Ella. Yes, Zacchaeus. Remember, he was very short, and he was so excited to see Jesus that he climbed a tree so he could see him.
That's one way.
What carried Jesus?
Oh.
A person, an animal, a machine, people, water, or the wind. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Luke 19, 35. All right. They brought it to Jesus, threw their cloaks on the colt, and put Jesus on it. What is a colt? Another name for what? Emmy. A colt. I can't believe you don't know that. It's a donkey or horse, yes. So what would be the answer? What carried Jesus? Olivia.
An animal.
An animal. Let's read Luke 19. Just so anybody have not heard the story of Zacchaeus? A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but because he was so short, he could not see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree, or a sycamore fig tree, to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. So Zacchaeus climbed a tree to see Jesus. All right, good job. Name one kind of work you will do today. Well, you're doing a lot already, but what kind of work will you do today? Luke, or Jeff?
Eat.
Eat.
Yeah.
That is a good thing to do. I like to eat. That's fun work. Boy.
And young work.
What's that? Homework. The dreaded homework. Wah, wah, wah.
Homework up there.
Jeremiah.
Eat and exercise.
Exercise. You were just outside playing in the snow. That is exercise. Tessa. Chores. Ew. You have to do chores when you get home? Ew. Good for you. Friends, I cannot hear when you're all talking. Oh, lucky you. Hopefully it's a small driveway. Helen. Oh, that's probably a lot, animal stuff. How long does it take you to do all the animal stuff? Yes.
So my gymnastics finishes at 6:45, and then it probably takes me probably 36 minutes to do.
36, not 37 or 34. Sorry. And then when do you have to do? Then you have to do homework. Ooh.
And I sometimes do it on the way home, but then I have to do my homework, and then I gotta eat, and then I go to bed.
There you go. It's a busy day. Luke,
Playing video games.
is that really work?
Finger.
Oh, yeah, this. Okay, yeah. Getting a finger workout. All right, that's all right. I think that's a stretch, but I'll give it to you. Jeremiah.
I'm maybe gonna go to First Ranger's house.
How does that work?
So I might leave at 3 or at 2:30 and then stay there for 5 hours. For driving the car.
Oh, that's terrifying.
No, we live so close together. I live
They-
like 5 minutes away from her.
Oh, that's fun.
You can walk.
That's fun. I think that sounds like fun work. All right, friends. Explain how this work can be done, to bring glory to God. How can you bring glory to God by the work that you are doing? Think about the motive. What is something that, if you are doing it for God, what should your motive be? What should your heart be doing? Olivia,
Oh, I had something else.
go ahead.
Like reading the Bible.
Well, yeah, that would be, yes, that glorifies God. But how is this work? How can this work be done to bring glory to God? So when, for instance, an example, when Helen is doing her chores, feeding the animals, and when Tessa is doing her chores, if they're grumbling and complaining and, is that glorifying God?
No.
How should our heart be when we're doing something if we are glorifying God? Should we be thankful and grateful and praising God, or should we be grumbling and complaining and crying? I don't want to do this anymore. Which one? Which one glorifies God? Jonathan.
Being happy and praising God.
Yes. Now when Jeremiah goes over to Christian and Gabe's, should they fight and argue and hit each other, push each other, kick each other? And don't do that to Roman. How would you glorify God when you are doing that work? Jeremiah, how do you glorify God? When you go over to Jeremiah's house. Jeremiah, how do you glorify God when you go to your house? When you go to Gabe and Christian's?
Play nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have a baby too.
I know, don't be mean to Roman.
No, that's Michael. I just they got a new baby.
I know, what is the new baby's name again?
Michael.
Michael. Michael's always in his carrier seat, and I don't get to really see him, but I always get to see Roman. He is a cutie pie.
Michael tries. He looks like that. He tries to see you.
So what is another work that you named that you could do to glorify God? Yes. Jonathan. What's that?
Helping others.
Yeah, helping others. Very good. All right, let's move on. So, when we are doing the study guide, what does the study guide tell you? That it is preparing you for what? Tessa, what'd you say? Yes. So let's go through this together. And if there is something that you don't know, please raise your hand and we'll go into it more detail. When a force moves something, what is done? When a force moves something, we just were talking about it. What is done? Ella.
Work.
Yes, work. Let's read in your textbook on page 134. At the top of the skier, it says scientists say, can you please read that? Christian, scientists say, finish that please.
Scientists say work is done when a force moves something. Turning on page of the book is work because you are moving something. Even moving your eyes across the page is work.
All right. So I guess Luke is right. Playing a video game is work because you're moving your fingers.
And watching the.
So
Oh yeah.
anything that causes something to move is work. So keep that in mind. Simple machines make work harder or easier.
easier.
Yes. What would you consider a simple machine? Jack.
A tractor?
I would say a tractor would be more complex. What would be something simple, like something that you would push? That Em said she might have to do to clear the snow. Em. A shovel. What about one of my least favorite jobs to do, since I have so much hair in my house? I don't know if this would be considered simple or more complex. Something that cleans the floors. To plug in. Grayson.
Sweeping?
I think sweeping would be simple. What would be another option or another example of something that you would plug in to clean the floors? Jeremiah.
A Roomba or something?
A vacuum cleaner, yes. So I think simple is something that you would think about what you do, that you could either push it or pull it. What about a wagon? Can a wagon help you carry things?
Yeah.
What about a wheelbarrow? Does that help you carry things?
Yeah.
So a wagon, do you push or pull?
Pull.
A wheelbarrow, do you push or pull? Push. Both are simple. So think of something that you have to actually work to do, but it helps you do your work. Yes, Jonathan. A shopping cart. Good Lord. A shopping cart, yes. How would you like to go to the grocery store and carry everything?
Oh no.
You wouldn't buy as much, that is for sure. So simple machines are jobs that they make jobs easier, whereas something like a vacuum cleaner, a tractor, a bulldozer, those are more complex machines. What about a, I forget the name. On page 136, the big air.
Windmill?
Well, windmills, I guess you just call it a windmill. Yeah, windmill. And there's another name for it, but what about a water wheel? Something on page 136. You really don't see those very often.
Oh.
But back in like 100 years ago, they used the water wheel to create energy. And you can kind of see it. It's not very, kind of hard to make out.
It's really dark.
But there's a big wheel right there that turns, and that creates energy. I lost this page.
It's hard to see.
It is very hard to see. They're kind of fun. You don't see them very often anymore. Energy is what is needed to cause blank and to do what? So on 138, we have the whole thing about energy. Page 138. So if you look on the bold, it gives you a definition of energy. It says, remember that energy is what? Jeremiah, can you read that on page 138, above kinds of energy?
You see energy every day.
No, wait a minute. It says, remember that energy is, remember that, see the bold word energy? On page 138, above kinds of energy, under energy, 138.
Remember that energy is what is needed to cause change and to do it.
Oh. So, Jeremiah just said, energy is what is needed to cause change. And to do.
Work.
So, why does energy cause change? What happens? What does that mean? Cause change. Energy is what is needed to cause change and to do work. So if you are laying down in your bed, sleeping, and, oh, I don't want to get out of bed, but you have to because you have to go to school. What do you need to get out of bed? What do you need to get your body out of the bed and so your feet can start walking to the bathroom or wherever you're going? What do you need, Jen?
Energy?
Yes. And energy, meaning when it says it causes change, when you get out of bed and go start walking, that is change, right? You are changing what you are doing. You are moving versus sleeping. Does that make sense? Energy can blank from one form to another. Energy can blank from one form to another. What are the different forms of energy? What is the battery? On page 139, before we answer that question, what kind of energy is that battery? M. Grayson.
Electric energy.
James.
Stored energy.
Yes. Stored energy. So if you think of a battery sitting in a flashlight, is it being used all the time?
No.
No. So, but the battery's energy is being stored. So when you turn the battery on, what happens? Does the light go on, hopefully?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So the battery stores energy. So when we, so then what is a chemical energy? So chemical energy is another form of energy. What would be a chemical energy? Chemical energy comes from burning fuel. What do we use pretty much every day that burns fuel? That you will be able to use when you're 16. Good Lord, that's scary. James.
Yeah.
Yes. So when the gas is used, it's a chemical energy. Is it stored energy when it's just sitting in your car and your car is not running?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you turn, not you personally, but when I turn the ignition, that sparks the gas that turns into energy. So until I turn the ignition on, the gas is just sitting in my tank. It's stored. So what about light energy? Where does light energy come from? What is the biggest source of light energy that we have on Earth?
Oh.
Owen.
Sun.
Yes. It says changes to energy. Energy can change from one form to another. Does that sound like a familiar sentence? A plant uses light energy called what? What is it that the sun comes down onto the plant? What is that called that the plant uses? We talked about that quite a while ago. Olivia.
Photosynthesis.
Beautiful. Photosynthesis. The light energy is stored by the plant as chemical energy. A person eats the plant as food. The person then uses the chemical energy from the food to produce mechanical energy. What is mechanical energy? If you look on that, on 140 of your textbook, it shows you how energy changes from one mode to another. The sun gives chemical energy to the apple. The little boy eats the apple, and what is he doing? He's running. That is mechanical energy. Mechanical energy is the energy that is caused by an object's motion or position. So mechanical, think of as motion. Okay? Wow, weird. And then it shows the energy in a flashlight, how it's stored. And then when it's turned on, it becomes a chemical to electric to light. In a flashlight, the stored energy in the battery changes to electric energy. The electric energy heats the wire in the light bulb, makes the wire glow, and you can see the light energy. The world is full of forces, motion, and energy. We need to understand each in order to work wisely in God's world. So, energy can what from one form to another? We look at that diagram on 140. What is energy doing from one form to another? What can it do? It can what? Energy can what from one form to another? Tessa? Yes. You think of the photosynthesis, in the apple, light energy to chemical energy to mechanical energy. And remember, chemical energy comes from burning fuels. So for our bodies to work, we burn the energy stored in the food we eat. So when the photosynthesis helps the plant grow, the energy from the photosynthesis is stored in the plant. And then when we eat it, we get the benefits of that energy. And then our bodies have that energy. Or when an owl eats a rodent. I was going to say rabbit, but Cole's not here, so sorry, Cole. The rabbit eats the grass. Where does the grass get its energy? From the sun. The sun, photosynthesis, grows the grass. The rabbit eats the grass. So now the rabbit gets the energy from the rabbit gets the energy from the grass, and then the owl gets the energy from the rabbit. So energy is stored until it is used. So on 5, name the 5 things that can do work. What are the 5 things that can do work? One is animal. What's another one? M. Machines. What is another one? Grayson. People. Helen. Water. One more. Olivia. Wind. So there you have it. The 5 things that can do work. All right, so if you look at that picture, write what is doing the work. Use the answers from number 5. So we just gave you that list. The scarecrow's clothes blew around his straw face. What is causing that? What is causing that? What is doing the work? Everyone should have their hands up. We need to focus and track. What is causing the scarecrow's clothes to blow? An animal?
No.
Water?
No.
What? Christian?
Wind.
Yes. The field workers picked the corn. Who did that work? Grant? Yes. A tractor plowed the field. Jack?
Machine.
Yes. A donkey carried a load of corn. Winsheen? Yes. The watermill ground the corn. Now be careful with this. The watermill ground the corn. Emmy? Water, very good. The children bagged the flour. Who did the work? Jack.
People?
Yes, very good. All right, so this is the part I'm not sure how much we get. The 6 kinds of energy. This is what we might have to go over a bit more. Can somebody name one kind of energy? Jonathan.
Sound?
Sound. What's another one, Olivia? Jack.
Physical energy?
We just talked about, yes, Owen.
Light?
Yes.
What?
Light. Talked about the battery. What kind of energy did the battery have? Grayson.
Chemical?
When it's sitting in the flashlight, what kind of energy does it have, Jeremiah?
Stored?
Stored. Now, when it's turned on, so there are 3 more. We have stored, sound, and light. What kind of, Christian?
Electric?
Electric. What is the 5th? M. Mechanical. Think of movement as mechanical. And Grayson, you did say number 6, but that wasn't in the right context. What did you say earlier?
I said, chemical.
Yes, and that is 6. So let's, I feel that is where we are lacking in information. So turn to page 138 where it talks about energy. I would like Jonathan to read the paragraph about energy.
You use energy every day. When you get out of bed, play on the playground, or even open a book, you use energy. Remember that energy is what is needed to cause change and to do work.
All right, energy is what is needed to cause change and to do work. And when it says it caused change, that means movement. Kinds of energy. Jeremiah, read the first paragraph. There are many kinds.
There are many kinds of energy. Sound and light are 2 kinds of energy. Light from the sun provides the energy needed for photosynthesis.
Very good. Boy, read the next paragraph. Electrical energy. On page 138.
Electric energy is used to light our homes, charge phones and computers, and run
Appliances.
Some homes use it for cooking and heating. Most machines
Okay, that's good. So electric energy is when we plug something in. So I plug in my charger to charge my phone or my computer. I plug in my light, my lamp beside my bed or anywhere in the house. Electric. Depending on what kind of appliance you have, I have gas at my home, but some have electric, so you need electric. So electric is a very important part of our daily living. Would you say so? Yes. Yes, Jeremiah.
At my house, we have a fireplace and it's gas.
Me too. I love it. Just flip the switch and it comes on.
Wait, no, not, wait.
And it's not
I
dirty.
don't have electrical, I have normal, like, you put wood in the fire and it starts up.
Oh, so you have a combo of gas and, yes, so the gas clicks, sparks and gets the flame going. Mine is just all gas, I turn it on and there's a beautiful flame. And there's no mess, and it's good for allergies. It's just very nice. Well, because wood burning, when you have wood burning in your house, is very dusty and it just wreaks havoc on my allergies. So, can't have a wooden fireplace in my house. Ella?
I have two fireplaces and it's one of these.
Nice. All right, Ella, why don't you read where we talk about mechanical energy on the bottom of 138. Most machines on 138. Bottom.
Most machines are used
Use mechanical.
mechanical energy. Mechanical energy is the energy caused by an object's motion or position. When you're riding a bicycle, you move the pedals. The motion is mechanical energy. Coasting down a hill on a bicycle is also mechanical energy. You do not provide the energy. The motion of the bike at the top of the hill allows you to go down the hill.
All right, so the position of the bike at the top of the hill allows you to go down the hill. So, would you use mechanical energy going up the hill? Yes, a lot of it.
Yeah,
I always like going down the hill much better than I like going up the hill.
definitely.
That is much more enjoyable.
It's like sledding.
Yes. Going down the hill is so much fun until you have to climb back up the hill.
I don't know. You don't want to be sledding up.
Not so fun.
Sledding uphill is fun.
Yes.
It's not.
Downhill. All right, so here we are going to talk about stored energy. M, why don't you read that? And where it says chemical energy. So stored energy, please listen.
Some objects have stored energy. Stored energy can be used a later time to do that. A battery has stored energy. You probably have a phone, camera, or other device that uses battery. Without battery, the device is not what it was made for.
All right, so the energy is stored in those batteries and hopefully will work when you need to turn it on. How many times have you gone to use a flashlight and it doesn't work? Because you didn't change the batteries. That has happened to me many times. The electricity goes out and oh, there's no battery power in my batteries. All right, Jack, read chemical energy on 139.
Chemical energy comes from burning fuel. Gasoline is a fuel some cars burn to provide the energy needed for their engines to run. For our bodies to work, we burn the energy stored in the food we eat.
So what would you prefer to eat, the yummy chicken and looks like potatoes and green beans, or the gasoline?
What?
So we need energy from our food. That's why we have to eat. If we don't eat, if you don't eat, how do you feel? Hangry. I love it. Yes. We get hangry. I don't like it when I get hangry, but we need food to function, right? What happens if you're driving down the car and your car goes put, and stops?
That's sad. Not good.
Most likely it's you ran out of gas.
You need more gas.
So then you have to go and get gas, or somebody has to bring gas to you.
Tow truck.
So the car will stop running when it doesn't have a gas, and we stop running to our best ability when we don't have food. That is called chemical energy. Our bodies burn the energy just like the car burns the gas. That is energy. So chemical energy, think of as gasoline and food. We need that just as the car needs it. Stored energy, think of the battery. Mechanical energy is movement. Riding a bike, that requires mechanical energy. Motion or position. Electric energy is used to power our houses, charge our phones, charge our computers. Those are, and then what, the light energy comes from what? Something we haven't seen in days. Jonathan. Sun. When are we going to see the sun again? Even though there's clouds, is the sun still up there and is it still shining?
Yes.
Yes. What would it be like outside if the sun was not out? Dark. So even though it's snowing outside and it's cloudy, the sun is still out, isn't it? Because it's still light outside. We can see. It's just not as cheery without the sunshine. Wisconsin winters are brutal. All right, so does everyone get the difference between the different energies? So on 140, there's a little excerpt about science and the Bible. In the Bible times, there were no flashlights. Instead, people carried small lamps for light. The lamps used olive oil for fuel. A piece of cloth or twisted string was put in the oil and lit. The flame produced light. The oil was stored energy needed for the light. Why was the oil stored energy? Why is that an example of stored energy? Owen.
Nobody was using it.
Until the oil was, yeah, you're right. The oil is in the lamp, not being used. But what happens when they put the piece of cloth or string and they put it in the lamp? Then it becomes what kind of energy? When they light it. So the oil is stored energy because it's in the bottom of the lamp, not being used. But when they, well, let's just read on and then maybe you'll figure that out. Just remember, can energy change from time pretty quickly? Yes, it can. The flame produced light. The oil was stored energy needed for the light. Just as the lamp gives light in the darkness, the Word of God shows us how to live in a world full of sin. So it says Psalm 119:05, thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. It's kind of like our pledge, isn't it? So we have, envision we have the lamp filled with oil. The oil is just sitting there, so it is stored energy, correct?
Yes.
Then they put the string or cloth into, and they saturate that into the oil. And then they light it with fire. And the fire does what? What does it create? Darkness? What does the lamp create? What kind of energy? Christian?
Light.
Yes. And there's also a chemical change occurring when the lamp is lit. There is it changes the oil from stored energy to chemical energy to light. So those are changes that occur within that energy source. Just like in the battery, chemical, electric, and light. The lamp is very similar. But we don't have electric energy because there is no electricity back in the biblical times. So we have stored, chemical, and then light. So remember that energy can change. The world is full of forces, motion, and energy. We need to understand each in order to work wisely in God's world. Learning about His world will give us the knowledge we need to serve other people. So, I want you to work on the paragraph on 112. Write a paragraph describing the forces that affect you or affect how you move the wheelbarrow. Explain how you can use what you know about these forces to help you work better. So what is a wheelbarrow? Has everybody seen a wheelbarrow? So a wheelbarrow is a simple machine. It makes our life easy, but it's very simplistic. There's no motor, there's no engine, there's no battery. It is something that you use if you're going from point A to point B with large rocks, or if you're needing to move something that's heavy. So it is like a big wagon, so to speak, with a wheel in the front and handles in the back, and you push it. So you can push a lot of things because it helps move things in an easier way so it's not as heavy. The wheelbarrow is doing the heavy work for you. Yes, Jeremiah?
Do we have to turn this in?
No. No, because, let me see, is there anything on the back? You're working on it together. I might want to see your paragraph because these paragraphs are very important. They could show up on tests, hint, hint. You do know that everything on your test comes from your book. It may be worded in a tricky way, especially in true and false, but these paragraphs are very important for you to do and understand. So do you push or pull a wheelbarrow? Christian?
Pull.
You pull a wagon. What am I doing? If I have it, am I pushing or pulling?
Pushing.
Yes. And do remember, what is pushing and pulling, friends? What is that? Jack?
Energy?
No.
Force?
Yes. What is gravity? Jonathan?
A force that makes a visible force that makes you stand around.
Right. It's a force that pulls objects toward the center of the earth, so we don't float up into the heavens. What is friction? M. Yes. Very good. So we have discerned that pushing and pulling is a form of force. Gravity keeps us centered on Earth so we don't float away, and friction slows us down. How are any of those come into play with this paragraph? Have you ever worked in the yard using a wheelbarrow or wagon? So a wheelbarrow we pull, or push, a wagon we pull. Pushing a wheelbarrow across the grass lawn is harder than pushing it on a driveway. Why? What does grass cause? We just said the word. Jeremiah.
Friction.
Yes, which slows us down, right? Makes it harder. And then by pushing on a driveway, why is that easier than the grass? Jonathan.
Because it's smoother and more compact and harder.
Yes. It makes it easier to push or pull because there isn't as much friction. You might hit a rock or two that might slow you down a bit, but the grass has a considerable amount of friction that's going to slow you down. So those are the things you need to think about when you write this paragraph. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to work on this paragraph, and then we have to skedaddle. It means we have to get going.
Are you,
So, what's that?
wait, are you Cat in the Hat?
Yes. Did you not know that?
Huh?